Orioles are going through a rough stretch. The Birds have dropped 6 in a row and 12 of their last 15 games, and 10 of those losses have been by 2 runs or less. So to break out, the Birds are looking for an extra hit here or maybe a defensive play there. And a quality performance from their starter would also help. It's the final game of 3 in Houston. O's and Astros up next on MASN. It's the Orioles on MASN. We're at Minute Maid Park in Houston, Texas. Today, the Orioles and the Houston Astros, the finale of this 3-game weekend series. And hi, everyone. I'm Jim Hunter. Welcome to Houston, where the Orioles are looking for a win before heading home to begin another homestand. It's been a frustrating couple of weeks for the Birds. They have lost 6 consecutive games and 12 of their last 15. And what's even more frustrating, most of those games they had a chance to win and just couldn't get over the top. So what to do today to get a win in the finale? Well, you hope Alec Asher is the stopper. Asher takes over in the rotation. He's in Evaldo Jimenez spot. And in his 2 spot starts for the Orioles this year, he's pitched very well. 0-1 with a 2.92 ERA in those starts. April 15th, that was his Orioles debut in Toronto. A quality start there. And then another quality start in Boston on May the 2nd. So 2 quality starts in 2 tries, and that is tied for 3rd most on the Orioles. Now, one of the things about Asher, they're hoping the bats will turn around. You see 1.46 run support in those 2 starts. They've scored just 2 runs for him total in those 2 starts. So Jim Palmer, Alec Asher earned this start today, and what the Orioles are hoping, he seizes it and pitches them to a win.
Yeah, I mean, as you just pointed out, in both of his starts, he's pitched very well. Now, obviously, when you lose the close games, and I always kind of talk about you have to play in concert. You know, there's different components, obviously, to winning baseball games. You know, Gosselin pitched great here on Friday night. They didn't score him any runs. So today you got to play a little bit more in concert. And when you talk about maybe seizing the 5th starting position, he's got the complement of pitches. You know, he's got a cutter, he's got a fastball, he's got a curveball, he's got a changeup. And we've seen him both as a starter and out of the bullpen. So again, he throws a lot of strikes. You know, again, when you become especially against this team in Houston, which is one of the better offensive teams in baseball, they'll test you because you have to hold runners. You got to field your position. But at the end of the day, he can throw a lot of pitches. He can throw them over. I think they like that. They're looking for a 5th starter, and maybe he will seize that position today by giving him another really good quality start.
And what you like about Alec Asher, he earned this start, and he'll be on the mound today. The Orioles looking to get a win before heading home. When we come back, we'll visit with Houston native Paul Janisch. Baseball on Masson is brought to you by Southwest. Yes to low fares with nothing to hide. That's transparency. And by visitannapolis.org. Create your moment at visitannapolis.org. Daytime baseball in Houston, and that means Paul Janisch has returned home. As Janisch grew up in the Houston area, he was a high school star at Cypress Creek High School and then stayed home for college. He went to Rice University, where he became a fifth-round pick of Cincinnati in 2004, and he's now in his third season with the Orioles. And I spoke with Paul before today's game and asked him what it's like coming home and playing in a major league game in his hometown.
It's a cool feeling. There's no doubt about it. You know, when I came up with Cincinnati, Houston was in our division back then, so we used to come in 3 times a year, and it was always a good time. It's fun to come home and see all the people that you grew up with, especially family and friends. But it does get a little hectic at times too, because there's a lot of ticket leaving and a lot of people to see and say hello to. But it's always fun to come home.
You were a star in high school and probably had your pick of colleges. Was it the remaining here in Houston? Was that the draw to go to Rice?
Yeah, there's no doubt. Rice is a pretty big deal in and around Houston. There's a really strong network, and my parents were pretty firm with the fact that once I had the opportunity to go to Rice, I was going to have the opportunity to play baseball there. That was kind of the place that I was going to go. I grew up. My brother and my dad went to Texas, so I kind of grew up a Longhorn. But when that opportunity presented itself, it was pretty clear what we were going to do.
And you were one of the players that actually helped them build that program. And before you know it, before you're out of there, you win it all, the College World Series, and you were a big part of that.
Yeah, you know, I've been fortunate with the opportunity to play baseball for a long time, and even still up to this point, the whole College World Series experience and winning that was something that's right up at the top of the list. And a lot of those guys still live here in Houston, and we're all still real good buddies. And that's just something that you'll never forget. It was a cool experience.
Now, I understand you went back to school to finish up your degree. Why was that so important to you while you were still pursuing your baseball career?
You know, it's just kind of one of those deals, the cliche of kind of you make a promise to your mom kind of deal, and that was number one. And also, my wife graduated from Rice also, so there's one thing that I didn't want her to have any leverage on me, so I wanted to make sure I get mine done as well.
What was your major, and what might you do with that when your career's over?
My major is economics, and I'm not 100% sure. The last couple of years I've done a little interning and whatnot, so I think hopefully maybe I'll get into the real estate realm. If I don't stay in the game, there's definitely a pretty good chance I'll stay in baseball as well, but we'll see how things unfold.
You've had a fulfilling career, but the last couple of years has been tough coming up and down. How do you stay positive not knowing where you're going to be at any moment?
You know, it's just one of those things. It really just doesn't make any sense to worry about it because there's just nothing you can do about it. Some of those things are out of your control. So, unfortunately, the last couple of years I've been the benefactor of some injuries. It's kind of like right now with Flash getting banged up, I get called up. So it's a good position to be in with the Orioles. They really enjoy keeping the continuity in the clubhouse. Buck is really big on that. So, unfortunately, it takes an injury the last couple of years, but at the same time, it's been a really good place for me. I've enjoyed Baltimore. My family's enjoyed it. So, and this year was fortunate and coincidental in the sense that we were coming to Houston right before I got called up.
And it must be a good fit for both sides because they keep asking you back and you keep coming back.
Yeah, I mean, hopefully the feeling's mutual, right? You're right. They keep bringing me back, so I assume that on their side they've been happy with what they've got.
And Jim, he's a valuable member of the organization. Whenever he's needed, he performs.
Well, he's a contact hitter. He knows that. And then I don't know if you'll find a better defensive backup shortstop. So again, you give J.J. Hardy in the foreground right here. He gets the day off, and Paul again. I mean, McCullers got a great curveball. Maybe he'll actually hit some singles today. He's tough to hit.
So the finale here in Houston, our BGE Home game time temperature. BGE Home is Baltimore's home team for heating, cooling, plumbing, and electrical. Why would you call anyone else? 89 degrees outside, but the roof is closed here at Minute Maid Park. Humidity 63% with that roof closed. So the O's looking to snap the 6-game losing streak before heading home. And here's the Orioles lineup brought to you by Southwest. Yes to low fares with nothing to hide. That's transparency. Seth Smith in that leadoff spot. Pretty good month of May. 2 home runs and 6 RBIs. Scope moves up to number 2 with Adam Jones out of the lineup. Machado, Trumbo, and Davis. Castillo will catch. Kim Rickard and Janisch.
And they will face Lance McCullers Jr. Well, Ryan S., because of the strikeouts, he's averaging more than 1 an inning. 21 and 14 innings against the Orioles. Streaking, he's had 22 scoreless innings. And then again, you can call him Mr. May because he's 3-0 with a minuscule 0.59 ERA in the month of May.
And again, the only guy that's ever in Houston uniform had a lower month of May. And of course, that could change today if he gives up some runs. Was Nolan Ryan with an 0-20. It was all the way back in 1984.
Well, here is Seth Smith leading off. And the first pitch is upstairs, 1-0. Now, Jim, the thing about McCullers is he has dynamic stuff. There's no doubt about it. As we get a look at Smith's numbers, he is 0 for his last 14 and just 1 for his last 17. But McCullers has a tendency to be a high pitch count guy. So what's the approach of the hitters? Do you try to wait him out or attack him early?
Well, you hope. I mean, he's going to throw a majority of his pitches are going to be curveballs. So you don't see too many guys do that. He's going to throw less fastballs and curveballs and changeups. He throws 94, 95. He can maybe get a little bit higher than that. But at the end of the day, for him, his curveball is going to be the pitch that he'll use to throw strikes. When he gets, he's at least had what 3-2 counts 42 times. 35 of those pitches have been curveballs. But again, right there, that's a ball. And when you're struggling, and Seth Smith is in that mode, as you mentioned, for his last, 17? And, you're going to chase a little bit more. And that's not what he usually does.
Well, McCullers 23 years old and already in his 3rd season with the Astros.
Yeah, I mean, this could be a curveball right here, and it's a hard curveball. Anywhere from, 85 to 88 miles per hour. It's a knuckle curveball. And there it is. And that's once a little bit slower, but again, he's so confident. So again, if you look at your Mercedes pitch cast, they know the numbers, but trying to hit it. There's a great article in Sports Illustrated, which you can Google if you're an Oriole fan, about the power of the curveball and how. There's another one, and Jeff Luhnow, who's the vice president of baseball operations, said that. Everybody talks about velocity and so on and so on, but to find somebody that can spin the ball, especially like Lance McCullers Jr., pretty special.
And the 2-2 is hit the other way against the shift. Outstanding at bat there by Seth Smith, and he is on with the leadoff single.
Yeah, again, I mean, this is what we're talking about. So primary pitches, you got obviously the R.A. Dickey, the knuckleballer. Then you got Feldman, who loves the cutter. Sabathia loves his slider, especially in advanced age. And then you have a 23-year-old right-hander that throws more curveballs and fastballs. And not only that, it's a good one, but that was even a better approach by Seth Smith. You're struggling, you don't overswing. They put the shift on, you hit it against the shift, and now you have a chance, maybe, to get something going in the first inning.
Johnathan Scope takes low. With that amount, Johnathan moves up to number 2. He is 2 for 7 in the series, and over the last 2 weeks, which mirrors the Orioles slump. Johnathan just 10 for 51. That's a 196 clip. And he's right on that and fouls it back, a ball and a strike.
Well, it's a combination of being real hot, and the teams you're playing know that, and also you play teams that maybe pitch a little bit better, so they can actually go to your weakness. And the other factor of pretty much every hitter I've ever seen get hot, from Don Baylor to Frank Robinson to Reggie Jackson, is that when you're hitting, well, you think you can hit everything. And reality is you can't. You still have to be able to look for your pitch. And you got to look at it, in your count. And Johnathan, Scott Coolbaugh, the hitting instructor for the Orioles, always talks about it. Have a pretty good idea what you want to do till you get to 2 strikes. And then, boy, you just have to scuffle. You have to do what Seth Smith did and what some of the Astros have done in the first couple of games of this series. Cut your swing down, use the whole field, and good hitters do that.
And a curveball bounce foul. Well, they're giving Scope the right side. Altuve shades up the middle.
Yeah, the problem, and that's the second time, and I don't know if something came off, maybe the thumb protection for Johnathan. A lot of times you'll wear that donut goes up on your hand, and maybe been jammed or something came off, either the glove or the bat. Yeah, you can see it.
Oh yeah, there it is.
Yeah, because you get a little bit of a bone bruise, and you wear that to protect it. Kind of cushions the actual wood against your hand, even though you're wearing gloves. Yeah, there's a good take, because in this article that Tom Verducci wrote in Sports Illustrated, they talk about how your vision, you have a central vision, then you have your peripheral, and what happens with a curveball, you can't follow the ball all the way to the bat head. So the good curveballs, you lose sight of it the last 10, 12 feet.
High fly ball to left. In the corner is Aoki at the wall, and that ball is gone. And the Orioles grab a 2-0 lead.
Well, because of the Jones injury, Buck Showalter, and again, we're talking 3 runs or fewer in 5 of the last 6 games for the Orioles. Well, there's 2/3 of it right there in one swing. And in the article, McCullers talks about, he said normally when he gets the 2 strikes, he said everybody says, well, you got to establish your fastball. Well, he tried to right there, and he could have thrown something else, and not a bad pitch. It's just a good swing. And in this ballpark, if you can, you described it on Friday night, a little bit like Fenway Park, short porch and left. Maybe the wall's not as high, but again, it's nice to hit it there without trying to. He just reacted to the ball, and it works.
And back-to-back 6-pitch at-bats, first by Smith and then Scope. So a single and a home run, and just like that, the Orioles take the early lead.
Yeah, so take a look right here, and again, this is a fastball. It's inside, but look how short the swing is. It kind of keeps the elbows in and allows the bat head to get to the ball. You got to hit that ball out in front by about a foot to 18 inches, and he's able to do that.
So that snaps the streak for McCullers as Scope hits his 7th. He had gone 22 consecutive innings without allowing a run, and he also has a streak that is now over. He had gone 26 1/3 innings without an earned run. The last run he had allowed prior to today was an unearned run. Manny swings at the breaking ball, 2-2. Manny's starting to show signs of coming out of it. He's hit in his last 3 games, 4 for 12, including 3 doubles. And he got him.
Yeah, you think it's there, and it goes somewhere else. And then there sits the hard curveball. Well, again, against the Orioles, I mean, this is to be the 15th inning he's pitched. That's the 22nd strikeout. You can't throw it any better than that. And that's why he's having this success. I mean, you pointed it out well. I mean, he was supplemental draft choice, 2012. Same year that Kevin Gosselin pitched. Kevin went number 4 in the country.
Trumbo to right field. That ball isn't carried. Back on it is Reddick, and he runs it down in front of the wall.
Yeah, they had the kind of ball club, where they just have good defensive players everywhere they put them. And again, if they want to move Springer out of right and put him in center field, they can. And Reddick won a Gold Glove when he was playing for the A's. We saw him Friday night in left. Well, you think you might have extra base hits. It's a short porch right there, and certainly knows where the wall is. Catches it a couple of steps from it.
And 2 down. Here's Chris Davis, and he'll take ball 1. Basket catch on the back end.
Little Willie Mays. He's known for that. That had about 660 home runs. Take a look at the defense. Aoki, Springer, and Reddick. Springer the first 2 games in right. Gonzalez, Correa, Altuve, who won a Gold Glove, Gurriel, and then Evan Gattis caught Friday night. DH last night. Back behind the plate. McCann came back off the DL. The concussion 7-day disabled list. As did Dallas Keuchel, who ran his record to 8-0 last night.
Just hit the corner. Count evens 2-2. Chris just 3 for his last 32. And takes strike 3. Breaking ball in there. Davis down on strikes, and that'll end it. But Johnathan Scope delivers. Smith singled the lead off. Scope got into one. He hits a 2-run home run, his 7th, and the O's grab the early lead. Jim Palmer era jersey with the dad. Oriole fans here at Minute Maid Park. Here's a look at the Astros lineup for today. Springer, Reddick, and Altuve with Carlos Correa in the cleanup spot. He is on fire in the month of May. Beltran will DH, then Gaddis, Gonzalez, Gurriel, and Nori Aoki batting ninth.
And Alec Asher, again, he gets a chance. Third start, great addition. They picked him up, the 28th of March. And so fifth starter, well, he pitches well. Certainly looking for that. Jimenez has struggled. And then innings. Buck Showalter would be so thankful, so thankful if he can give the Orioles innings and quality innings. There are the numbers. They're good. Fly ball pitcher. See how that plays in this ballpark. We do have some room in center field. And again, he's got full complement of pitchers. He's got starter stuff.
And he gets ahead of Springer. Well, if unfamiliar is an asset, none of the hitters in the Astros lineup has ever faced Alec Asher.
But they've seen the film, and that's not the same. That's why we'll see how he fares. Hopefully gets through the lineup 2 or 3 times. There's the cut fastball.
Astros conclude a homestand today. Springer is 6 for 34 on the homestand.
Yeah, but how about the 4 for 9? Came in at 231. He's gone up 11 points in 2 games. A mammoth home run last night.
Fouls off the pitch on the outer part of the plate.
Yeah, the fastball came on a 3-1 fastball off of Wade Miley, but we saw him on Friday night where he was red hot. Actually had, just like that, pretty good 2-strike at bats where he cut down a little bit. I mean, he's a home run guy. Hit 8 in his first 14 games this year. Got off to a great start, at least homer wise.
And he plunks it. On an 0-2 pitch, the Astros get a base runner.
Yeah, and I mean, it's hard not to react to that because nobody likes to get drilled, but Springer's been around long enough to know that when you get a 2-0 lead, this is the last thing you want to do with 2 strikes. You can see him going in, and boy, he goes way in, and he doesn't even make any move. Luckily, it gets him somewhere in the left bicep or tricep up around the emblem they have on their uniform. So he's laughing, but it hurt, and they need base runners.
An 0-2 pitch, he loses it.
Well, everybody talks about young pitchers not pitching inside as much, and a lot of it is most hitters have the front protection on that front elbow. So if you do go in and you hit him, it doesn't usually hurt. But the other thing is you don't do it that much. So you could see right there, he's trying to go in. Castillo was sitting in, but he just threw it, a foot too far.
Josh Reddick will take ball 1. Reddick in his first year with the Astros. The thing about Asher, Jim, he's pitched 29 innings total on the year. The 2 starts and the relief appearances. And that is the 6th batter he has hit already. 6 batters he's hit 29 innings.
Well, that tells me he'll pitch inside, but it also tells me that maybe he doesn't command the ball inside as well as he'd like.
Right to Davis. He trapped it, goes to second out there. Giannis back to first. There's a 3-6-3, and that eliminates the base runner, 2 down.
Yeah, again, if he gets Springer out, that's probably a double because Davis will play off the line. But as it turns out, sometimes there is luck in this game. Reddick has a great at bat. I mean, it's a sizzling liner. There's the trap, and no hesitation. So take a look at the Oriole defense. A little bit different with Jones out. Kim Rickard, he's playing center. Smith and right. Machado and Giannis, Scope Davis, and then Welling Castillo, who DH'd in yesterday's, I guess you would call early evening games. What, 6:10 here. It's hard to tell when you're indoors. They're almost all night games, or at least except that you do have the brighter backdrop.
Yeah,
with the windows.
The windows in left center field to center field. Here's Jose Altuve, 9th in the league in batting with that 301. There you see him. The windows out there in the outfield. It's a very busy ballpark. There's a lot going on in here.
Well, again, they took out Taos Hill, which was a slight hill, and it was out in this area, and they took it away. So you don't have to run uphill anymore. But there's a lot going on. I mean, you got signs, you got the Budweiser thing hanging over. I'm not sure the hitting background is as good as they would like, and they play, at least offensively, a lot better on the road than they do here.
Altuve doesn't chase. Count evens 2-2.
They say it favors left-handed pitchers. And then again, if you start looking at Dallas Keuchel's numbers, he's 23-5 at home of the last 4 years.
Let's poke towards Scope. And Johnathan will get Altuve, and a solid start for Alec Asher, a shutdown inning. We head to the second in Houston. Birds with a 2-0 lead. Game, Jim. Adam Jones is sitting it out. He's got a sore hip. He's got a sore ankle, so taking a few days off.
Yep. Well, all kinds of injuries, and this is what happens when you play every day. And again, we could see it a little bit, just kind of shutting it down a little bit. Buck Showalter said in his pregame, he's got some soft tissue damage, and
so Joey Rickard in center field again.
Yeah, got a bad read on that line drive early on yesterday, but it was a tough play. Very tough, right at him, and going over his head for a double, or I thought it was a triple, but they scored it as a double, but he got all the way to third base. It changed the complexion of the first inning.
Castillo DH'd last night, so he could catch today. He's in a 2 for 20. Skid is batting average at .315. Breaking ball just missed.
Yeah, you never know. It's funny when Minnesota's playing so well. Only Houston. Actually, they have a better road record than Houston. They're almost. Houston has one more win. They have one less loss. You never know if you're really in a slump, or it's just that Santana and Barrios were that good, and Fulmer in Detroit. I think it's a combination, maybe of both. He hit some home runs when he came off the DL, so maybe thinking, okay, I can drive the ball again. But from what I've seen, his strength is really right center, left center.
Backs up Marwin Gonzalez. The long throw across is not scooped by Gurriel. So Castillo's going to reach.
Yeah, again, that high hopper, and he looked like he almost looked for that curveball in a 2-1 count. And then again, you to kind of test your arm strength. And Gonzalez, I mean, he can play everywhere. I mean, he plays all over the infield. But again, this ball just a little bit low. Certainly looked like it was catchable. I mean, that's why they give you the big scoop glove. Yeah, didn't bounce way out. But again, Gurriel, he can play first, and he can play other positions.
Ball 1 to Hyun-Soo Kim. So that'll be an error on the throw as the ball bounced. Gurriel, who's still learning the nuances of first base, might have had that.
Yeah.
And Kim rips it in the right field for a base hit.
Well, there's a changeup, Jim. So again, the straight pitch is the home run to Scope on a fastball, and then figuring, okay, scouting report tells me, and you can see what, again, what the bottom of the lineup has done for the Astros, and again for the White Sox, the Orioles, and then the Red Sox.
Our PNC inside the number, so the Astros the best lower third, and the Orioles third.
And you can see where Trey Mancini and Johnathan Scope, big part of that, even though Scope has already had a 2-run home run hitting second. Maybe you're going to have to move him up.
Here's Rickard. Shows bunt and takes high.
Yeah, you better play in, because with his speed, and he worked on it this spring, I think every time I see Ron Johnson this spring, he 2 outs, man on third, dropped the bunt down. I was reading about it when I come over for one of the spring training games. Ron Johnson said that separates the real players from just the players.
Ooh, called that a strike. Rickard thought it was outside and high. StatCast brought to you by Amazon Web Services. You see the leads. There's Kim getting a bigger lead with Gurriel playing in front of him. Correa trying to keep Castillo close. Rickard is going to swing at that, takes it outside for ball 2.
Well, they know he's a better fastball hitter than curveball hitter. And again, the colors, 45% of his pitches that he throws are curveballs.
Paints the outside corner there.
And again, it's not that he doesn't have good stuff. Just look at 94, 96. He's got #1 round arm. Or as they say here in Texas, big arm.
Everything's big here. Well, he was a supplemental pick. They lost free agent Clint Barnes. And that is a trade the Astros would make any day of the week. He went 41st in that first round of 2012. His teammate, Carlos Correa, was the #1 overall pick in that draft. Byron Buxton went 2nd. Mike Zunino went 3rd to the Mariners, and then Kevin Gausman 4th.
Yeah, that number.
The O's.
Yeah, that number right there, Jim. That's about the only number that's a little bit higher than the norm. So there's a curveball, but again, the break is so good. He calls it. I mean, it's kind of actually on the cover of Sports Illustrated. They have his grip. I mean, he's the cover guy. I wonder if that'll jinx him. He's already given up more. That's like you said. He had what, 22 scoreless innings, 26, a little bit over 26 without giving up an earned run. So he's already given up 2 more than that. There it just freezes you.
So that is strikeout number 3 and his second called strikeout.
Now you think it's going to be inside, and then it just, I mean, it's a swooper, and it's hard. And again, nicely caught by Evan Gattis. I'm sure Joey thought that ball was going to be inside, and you can see it catches the inside part of the plate.
So here's the hometown boy, Paul Janisch, back home in his native Houston. He'll take ball 1. Paul getting his second start. He started last Sunday against Toronto, giving J.J. Hardy a day off, and starting again today. So Rickard showed bunt the first 3 pitches of the at-bat. Then when the count got in his favor, Buck took the bunt off, and McCullers comes back to get him.
Yeah, and you don't advance anybody. And that's huge. I mean, you're trying to get up as many runs as you can because you've been struggling for runs. It just allows your starting pitcher maybe to relax a little bit. I mean, 2 runs do too, in a sense, because you know that 1 pitch is not going to beat you. So early runs are important. I mean, even here, if Paul can hit, Janisch can hit a ball to the right side, or put the ball maybe on the ground, but not a double play type variety. You can advance some runners. But when you're not playing every day, 96 looks a lot quicker than that. And then in the back of your mind, because you know that he favors the curveball, it's hard to really sit on any one pitch.
Giving him a lot of room in that left center gap. Not expecting that Giannis will pull McCullers. Breaking ball fouled off. McCullers has won his last 3 starts. His last start was Tuesday against the Tigers. He lasted only 5 innings because of a high pitch count, 96 pitches, but he did not allow a run. His only loss of the season came April 26th in Cleveland, when the Indians got to him for 5 runs in 5 innings. Another extended at bat here. Breaking ball is bounced foul. Castillo on at second. He reached on an error. And Kim is on at first after a single.
So 40 pitches already. So obviously, the way he's been pitching, you want to get him out as quickly as you can, either by pitch count or by scoring runs.
Well, Giannis about to see a 7th pitch in this at bat. Got to love the attitude of Paul Giannis. Very positive. Broken back ground ball. McCullers goes to second and safe at second base. The throw pulled him.
Yeah, Altuve does everything he can to keep that ball from going into right center field. You know, very athletic play by the pitcher McCullers. But again, part of that athleticism is you got to make an accurate throw. So what you come off the mound? I mean, a little jam shot right there. You got 2. Except you've got to drop your arm because you're going left, throwing back to your right. The ball runs, and if Altuve doesn't catch it, you're going to get another run because the runner going from second to third is going to score. I mean, you could see right there Kim saying he's safe. So it's another error too in this inning now, but it was a productive ground ball only because McCullers threw it away.
Well, this is a situation you really got to take advantage of. 2 gift errors, and now here's Seth Smith outside with a breaking ball.
Yeah, I mean, for McCullers, and again, we talked about the 256 runner in scoring position number. That is higher. You know, it's about 249 is the league average. So he's a little bit higher than the norm, but he is a strikeout guy, and that's where you can get back into an inning if you're young and you can strike people out. And we saw it on Friday night when they brought in Davinsky and get the bases loaded, and he was able to strike out Seth Smith and that was the bases loaded with nobody out, and he would get out of the inning in a 2-0 ball game unscathed.
Well, McCullers a bit frustrated. He called Evan Gattis out,
and you can see he's only about 6'1". And Gattis is a big guy. Power arm, power stuff. Again, very athletic windup. He has a plus curveball.
Bases loaded, 1 down, and Smith will take a strike. Now they're giving Smith again the left side.
Well, but Gonzalez was playing shortstop. I mean, he was way over, playing short. Now, of course, he's playing because the runner at third don't want to get big lead. So it's a little bit more conventional, other than your shortstop is on the other side of second base. So he's going to hunt for a strikeout, and Seth Smith is trying to hunt for contact. And as you mentioned, it has not been easy as of late.
Brooke is 0 for 14 with that first inning single. Big chance for the Orioles to add to their lead. 1-2 on Smith. Called strike 3 on the outside corner. So he's stuck with the curveball, and he gets Smith looking.
Well, remember, he came in with 14 strikeouts, or 21 strikeouts in 14 2/3 innings. And there's the hook. You think you give up on it because you think it's outside, and it's right around the outside corner. You can see from that angle right there, high home doesn't lie. Caught the outside part of the plate. Let's see if Schoop gets another fastball to hit. He had a 2-run home run on one the first time up.
Ground ball towards the middle. There's Correa. He bobbles the ball. Throw to first and safe at first base. And a third error of the inning allows the Orioles to get another run.
Yeah, I suppose they call that a base hit because he had to go so far, but that's a ball that we've seen him catch on many occasions. You can see how far he has to go because he has to reach. And again, he's got to stretch out, can't make the transfer. No such thing. You never assume it's an easy out. And the Orioles get their third run. And now you have arguably your hottest hitter, at least in this series, coming to the plate. Struck out his first time in Manny Machado.
Well, they are going to give Schoop a hit, so that means an RBI. And here's Manny. There's a called strike.
Yeah, the irony is, and again, you're on the front cover of Sports Illustrated because of the curveball. The American League, or at least the numbers, curveball's getting hit at a higher average this year than his fastball.
This one's hit to Altuve. Manny, frustrated, slams the bat. And the inning ends. But the Orioles take advantage of 2 errors and a misplay by Correa to get a run mid-second. 3-0 O's. Salima Abayo of Silver Spring has won $500 for being selected and will win $500 more for every Orioles home run hit today. You can play Home Run Rich's scratch-offs and win up to $50,000 or enter your non-winning tickets for a chance to be the contestant of the game. Visit mdlottery.com/home run, and Salima already has won another $500. Johnathan Stewart with the first inning 2-run homer. Those fans like what they see, a 3-0 lead as the Orioles try to snap their losing streak before heading home to take on the Yankees. Good to see fan presence in road games.
Oh, yeah. Well, you can always tell when they sing the national anthem. You can hear the O. The other thing, though, it's harder to spot an Oriole fan here in Houston because they wear orange shirts too.
Good point.
It's like hunting season.
When I was taking a walk yesterday, I saw an Oriole fan walking with an Astros fan.
Yeah,
that's going to be interesting.
Coming to the game, no doubt.
Quickly 0-2 on Carlos Correa. Okay, now Orioles fan with an Astros hat. Now I'm guessing the Astros hat must have been a gift. All right, I'll wear it if you buy it for me. Carlos Correa, 22 years old, Rookie of the Year in 2015. Ground ball towards the middle. Giannis a diving try, and it deflects off his glove. Correa thinks about going to second base, but he puts on the brakes. That'll be the first hit for the Astros.
That's, I think, his third hit up the middle. Of course, he came in 4 for 8, now 5 for 9. Pretty good pitch. Up a little bit. He just reaches it, and then Giannis playing him pretty much straight away. Long way to go for it. And then right here, Johnathan Stewart says, you go get second, because the ball does deflect away from him. But the ability to make contact with 2 strikes is very important, especially for a young hitter.
Here's Carlos Beltran, who's DHing. A little bit low, 1-0. And 1 out of 4 in the series. He is 4 for his last 25.
Yeah, that was an all home runs from this side of the plate, all 5 of them. You get the second home run off of Kevin Gosselin, both of them solos. Yeah, Kevin went early on in the game on Friday night, was able to keep the ball on the outside part of the plate, and then he got behind 2-1, similar to what Springer did against Miley. Brought the ball in. Next thing you know, it's sailing into the seats down the right field line by Beltran. Of course, he's got 426 lifetime home runs.
Cued off the bat. Was the Orioles in the shift, that would roll a long way if he kept it fair. Carlos Beltran, now 40 years old, from Puerto Rico. He was drafted by Kansas City in 1995. Signed a 1-year deal to come here to Houston as the Astros look to add some veteran leadership and experience. Check swing at a breaking ball. Count will even 2-2. And Kirby at the end of the bench, as always. He directs the outfielders batter to batter. Orioles outfield very deep on Beltran. Two and 2 the count. Doesn't chase. Changeup, ball 3.
Well, he makes you throw strikes, and of course his advantage has always been he's a switch hitter. He was the Yankees' best hitter last year when they traded him to Texas. He's hitting over 300. He had, would end up with 29 home runs at age 39.
Go to first to chase Correa back.
And just in case he's leaning.
See if he goes on 3 and 2. He is. And it's low, ball 4. So the infield hit, now a walk. And Alec Asher's got to be upset there. He was 1 and 2 on Beltran and eventually walks him.
Yeah, and again, he had 2 chances to make quality pitches, and then when you get to 3 and 2 with the 3-0 lead, unfortunately, at least I felt this way, can't afford to do what he just did. So then you got to, you have a lifetime guy with a, lifetime batting average is 280 with home run power, and you want it now. You got to throw him a strike, and you couldn't do that. And they're just looking for a way to get back into this game. I mean, they're 19 and 10 at home. Of course, they play well, as we mentioned, everywhere. They're 15 and 6 on the road. Need to make a pitch here, maybe get a double play ball. And of course, the problem with Evan Gattis, I mean, it's 32 home runs, but you would never know from watching him the last 2 nights that he's a home run guy. Now, he can hit home runs, but his approach has been, okay, you come in, I'll pull the ball. If you go away, I'll just shoot it into right field.
Yeah, he is without a doubt one of the better foul line to foul line hitters.
With power. Hit 10 home runs in the month of September last year for the Astros.
Takes a strike, 1-1. Alec Asher, his averages by situation.
Yeah, again, the runner in scoring position. And it's not a lot. I mean, it's 2 for 15, but it's a very low number.
And the base hit here this inning was with nobody on. Correa leading off the inning. Goes after the high fastball and swings through it. 1-2.
Yeah, just and against not any extra. Just he's a tall guy. He's got a good windup. He's very smooth. I would imagine 90 plays a little bit harder than 90. You know, now they call it perceived velocity.
Remember the good old days when it was a high heater? And the 1-2 is pop foul.
Well, when I came up, I played for Hank Bauer, who was the manager, and he'd come from the Yankee organization. And of course, he played on 5 consecutive World Championships team. And his favorite thing was, we can't pitch high in this league. Now, that was to somebody that didn't have the high heater. But if you had the high heater, he'd look at me and say, well, you could do it.
That worked out okay.
Well, yeah.
So Davis behind Beltrán, who's getting a big lead. 1-2 on Gaddis. Did he strike him out? He did. The ball gets away from Castillo. First base was occupied, so Gaddis will be out, but the other runners advance.
Yeah, a little more movement, and I guess they're going to have a little conference here because I'm not sure, did the home plate umpire get hit? Yeah. And I'm not sure if Wellington Castillo doesn't think that. Yeah, I mean, he just doesn't catch it, gets it in the left shoulder. Marty Foster. So they come in and they wear that inside protector, but it doesn't cover all the way to the shoulder. It's almost like Wellington Castillo with a big glove couldn't get the glove in front of it because the ball just kind of took off up and in.
Yeah, made a right turn. So that'll take away the chance for a ground ball double play. It also puts 2 in scoring position. See Mike Winters there, the crew chief. And Marty Foster says he's okay.
Yeah, that's what he's going. That ball just took off up and in, ran up and in. And if I was pitching, I'd just be worried if he couldn't get his right arm up, because that's how you call strikes.
2 young stars at third base conversing, Correa and Manny. So the wild pitch advances the runners. And here's Marwin Gonzalez, who is a red hot hitter. He has really developed into a solid player for the Astros. At one time he was a role player, a backup, and now he's getting a lot of at-bats as a starter. If you hit, they find a place for him.
Well, he can play first, he can play third. And there's a nice play by Castillo. So couldn't corral the high heater up and in, and keeps that one from going to the backstop. You can see that it skips. A home run, what, almost once every 10 times to the plate so far this year. And again, 11 home runs with 8 of them from this side, hitting 300. So this is his more powerful, more, at least so far, productive side of the plate. Last year he almost hit 300 hitting on the other side.
Outstanding changeup.
Well, that's what he's been able to exhibit. You know, if you're Marwin Gonzalez, you're hoping for a fastball. You read fastball. That's what the changeup does with a good arm speed. And by doing that, he sends a message. And that's that I do have a changeup. I'll use it. And just plant a little bit of a seed of doubt into the Astros' heads.
Well, Gonzalez leads the Astros with those 11 home runs. Springer is second with 10. Fly ball left field. Kim is back. At the wall. It is off the wall and in play. 2 runs are going to score, and that's going to be a 2-run double for Marwin Gonzalez. And it's a 3-2 game. And fortunate for Asher where he hit that ball a few feet to the left, and this is a tie game.
Yeah, I'm kind of wondering. I wonder if it grazed the wall, because it's almost like Kim thought it was going up into the stand, and it didn't hit the stand. And there's a juts out there. So, I mean, again, this is what he's doing. I mean, it's a short porch, kind of like Fenway, get it in play.
Oh yeah, hit the side wall.
Hit the wall, but again, he thinks it's going up over his head into the stands or off that part of the wall. He couldn't have caught it anyway.
So the single and the walk have scored. Still only one down, and here's Yuli Gurriel, who takes ball one. The wild pitch hurting Asher here, with one of the hotter hitters in the lineup coming up.
Well, he did what you don't want to do, and that's with a 3-run lead. You know, it's harmless single up the middle, even though it was a leadoff single, and then the walk to Beltran. Just puts runners on.
This ball's ripped to left field. Back on it, Kim. It's over his head. Here's Gonzalez to score, and we are tied.
Well, the one thing about Yuli Gurriel, he does not walk. I mean, he's walked 4 times in 156 at bats. He's a free swinger out of Cuba, a veteran player. And right here, inside middle. And he hits a rocket. Kim can't run it down. I would say that left field's the hardest position to play here at Minute Maid Park in Houston, because of all the, you got the wall to your right over your shoulder, and then you got it juts out and goes back, what, about 15, 18 feet, all the way to the 362.
And the Orioles bullpen behind that wall. Here's Nori Aoki, the number 9 batter. Well, the Orioles 3-0 lead now gone, and we are back even. Not sure where that missed, but it's ball 1. Aoki in a 3 for 15, no longer plays every day. He was brought here as a free agent to add some veteran backup help. He can play left or right. Foul ball. So if you're Lance McCullers, you feel vindicated now. The Orioles left the bases loaded in the second. Just couldn't get that big hit to break it open, taking advantage of 2 errors to get just 1 run. Aoki now 35 years old, from Japan.
Well, yeah, contact hitter, Jim. I mean, that's, veteran. He's already got 6 assists, so he can help you defensively. There's another changeup that you talked about. I mean, he's a role player. I mean, you put him in there. And then when you're this old, you figure out, how am I going to be a productive player, not playing every day.
Well, he is on his 5th different team in the past 5 years. But he always finds a job. When bounces in, nearly hit him.
Yeah, that's that kind of slider. Alec Asher has a curveball, doesn't use it a whole lot. But we're seeing him when he, and you could see it, to Beltran when he was 1 and 2. A couple of wasted pitches to get to 3 and 2, then the walk. Sometimes part of pitching is to be able to throw the ball just off the corner, but it has to be hittable or swingable, and he's not doing that. So they're just, I mean, if they're a ball out of your hand, it's a wasted pitch. There's really no purpose. And it really kind of started with Springer leading off. He, got 2 strikes on him and then drilled him, missed about almost 2 feet inside to hit him.
Another 3-2 count. And it's swept to second base for Scope. Heading to third is Gurriel, now 2 men down. Well, fans, we invite you to come out tomorrow and celebrate Memorial Day at Camden Yards. The Birds and the Yankees at 105, and all fans receive an Orioles Memorial Day t-shirt. Great seats are available for the 3-game series that begins tomorrow on the holiday. For your tickets, Orioles.com or 888-848-BIRD. So 2 down now. The go-ahead run at third. And here is Springer. Strike 1. Asher was pitching very well in relief, and that earned him the start today. His last 4 relief appearances, he did not allow a run. He's allowed 3 runs here in the 2nd inning.
And that's why it's so important to get the runner to third, even though you didn't get a base hit by Aoki by making contact. Well, you got to trust your catcher. That's what having good catchers. The Rick Dempsey's, Elrod Hendricks of the world, Andy Etchebarren, they'd say, hey, execute it, throw it. I don't want to hang it. I'll keep it in front of me.
1-1 on Springer. Runner at third with 2 down. Let's get a look at our league leaders, brought to you by Coons.com. Over 2 million vehicles sold and counting. Highest averages against right-handed pitching, and the Astros at the top. Orioles see the Yankees tomorrow, then the Red Sox come in following New York.
Well, they're second in runs and second in overall average. They're hitting pretty much everybody.
1-2 on Springer. Again, too far outside. Can't entice him to swing.
Roger McDowell, Oriole pitching coach, looking on, hoping that he makes a pitch here. Oh.
That ball is crushed. It is deep, and it's gone. And the Astros have the lead.
Do they ever? Well, there is no doubt about it. But Springer could hit the fastball, and you could see home run number 11. Here's your another #1 round draft choice, and I mean, he just launches. It looks like a cut fastball, stays in the middle of the plate, and he could admire this one because he gets out of here in a hurry.
110 miles an hour off the bat. It's been a disastrous inning for Alec Asher. A 3-0 lead has turned into a 5-3 deficit. Long inning.
Yep. A lot of pitches. And the walk certainly helps. Started out with a, you would think, somewhat innocent 2-strike, make a pretty good pitch. Correa puts a nice swing on it, hits a routine ground ball, but it happens to be up the middle for a base hit.
There's Evaldo getting loose in the bullpen. This would have been his start. This ball's hit to right field. Long run for Smith. He's not going to get there, and it's a fair ball. And it heads into the corner. Reddick is thinking 3. Here's the relay throw from Stope. He double clutched, and in at third with a triple is Josh Reddick.
Well, they've hit for the cycle in this inning and then some. And again, another cutter. It just cuts into the middle of the plate. So you could see Wellington Castillo sitting on the corner, and then it hits the grass. That makes kick it right. Get an idea that Reddick can run a little bit. So running hard, and would have been close if he doesn't. Talking about Stope double clutch it, but he did.
So Reddick at third with his second triple of the year. And the Astros have batted around. Here's Altuve, the 9th hitter this inning.
That 2-time batting champion. And flat out hit. I mean, the only number is the 200 with runners in scoring position number, which was extremely low for him.
I want to know the count. Let's get a look at our Maryland Live Casino inside the numbers. On the road this season with AL ranks. Orioles are 10th 10-15 record, batting average 4th. With the team ERA 14th out of 15 teams, and that's been the issue, Jim. Ground ball through the middle. There's another base hit. And another run comes in. It's a 6-run inning.
Yeah, well, the cutter is just, and there's another one. We've seen a number of hits on that pitch. What happens is, everybody they fall in love with the cutter, but if it's in the middle of the plate, it stays on the same plane. And that's what's happened here. And again, becomes hittable. Buck Showalter, if you're sitting at home going, well, they've gotten 6 runs in this inning. How are you leaving them in there? You don't want to go to the bullpen before you have to. And you're hoping he'll be able to get the 3rd out here in the 2nd.
Well, Evaldo, accustomed to starting, takes a little bit longer to get loose than a reliever would. Here's Correa, who started this inning with a single. Altuve with yet another base hit. There's Evaldo getting loose. Altuve will run. He's 10 out of 12 in stolen bases.
Well, they needed to run. They had a 4-2 lead. They scored early runs, 2 in the 1st yesterday. Then the 2-run home run on Springer. They wanted to add a run. He stole a base off of Tyler Wilson, his 10th of the year. I don't know if he'll be running here, but you want to make sure that he doesn't at least stop him. Tyler Wilson wasn't able to do that. But you're again 1 swing for having an 8-run inning here. Because Correa doesn't, he's not a home run guy. 20 home run, 22 last year, and a full year, 20 the year before. But everything has been really between 88 and 91, except for the changeup. Again, the cut fastball. So it's a great pitch if it stays on the corners. If not, it just speeds the bat up, and we've seen that.
Ball and a strike on Correa. Low.
Yeah, there's the changeup trying to force something other than something in that zone.
Well, you got to figure if he doesn't get Correa, that'll be it. Two balls and 1 strike with Altuve on at first. Ball 3. You could see the frustration in the body language of Allegashar.
Well, he's trying to throw that again. That's another cut fastball. It sounds like a broken record, but that's what he's throwing. It's like he doesn't trust his fastball. I actually thought that at least initially this year he threw a little bit harder. But, if your average major league fastball is 92, he's maybe a tick underneath it. There's another cut fastball at 87. It's a pitch, he pitched down in the Dominican in the offseason and felt that he needed to add that pitch. And for some people, it's a great pitch. Usually more for veterans. Remember Tommy Hunter, how he got in trouble with that pitch?
Yep.
He lost his fastball.
Altuve's off with the pitch on 3-2. And it's bounced to Manny. That's a fair ball. Long throw across. Scooped out by Davis to finally end the inning. Nicely done on both ends by Machado and Davis. But the Astros send 10 men to the plate, grab the lead. Houston with a 6-run inning. Machado wins the 2nd 6-3 game. Got some help, couple of miscues by Houston. Castillo's bouncer to third, but Marwin Gonzalez throws low. Gurriel can't scoop it out. And then on this broken back comebacker, the pitcher Lance McCullers fires wide. Altuve prevents it from getting out to the outfield. And then on this, what would have been the final out of the inning, an infield hit it was ruled, but Correa did not play it cleanly, and that allowed a run to score. So the Orioles at the time, that was the third run. Alec Asher just had a 42-pitch inning. So it's a 6-3 game now. Trumbo leading off.
Yeah, McCullers came in at 5-1, and you go, okay, well, he's pitching really well, as you mentioned. They're only getting him a little bit under 3.5 runs a game. So that certainly went up and almost doubled. And it's early.
We'd like to answer back here after that long inning. Not only did the Orioles lose the lead, the Astros put a 6 spot on the board. There's McCullers' dad. Lance was a longtime reliever and a nice 7-year career. Bounce to third. Gonzalez will wait on the hop and gets it across to the Trumbo, 1 away. Well, fans, the 2017 All-Star Game voting is underway. Just go to Orioles.com/vote-orange. Now vote 5 times for the chance to win an autographed All-Star jersey, and vote 20 times and you'll receive a buy one get one offer for the Ranger Series in July. So vote early, vote often, and vote orange. Visit Orioles.com/vote-orange. Strike taken by Chris Davis. Davis called out on strikes his first at bat. Davis 3 for his last 33. And he takes another strike 3.
Yeah, again, going back, I asked Mike Bordick again about the curveball article in Sports Illustrated. They talk about, again, your central vision tracks the ball, and then your peripheral vision picks it up as it gets closer. And I said, did you ever, as this curveball is going to hit the outside corner, I said, could you see the bat head hit the ball? And Mike said, never. I said, never? I mean, kind of, tennis, you got to follow the ball right to the racket. He said, no. I mean, you track it, and then you lose, you kind of lose sight of it. And that's why the curveball, especially when it has the kind of revolution. In the colors of revolution, the average curveball would be somewhere around 2,500 revolutions, the spin rate. This is 28 something. So it's one of the hardest spinners, and it's hard to pick up and hard to hit.
He's held opposing hitters to a .210 batting average. He's under 7 base hits per 9 innings. Usually you'll see starters that are around a hit per inning, but he's below 7.
Yeah, again, I mean, every once in a while you'll see a Kershaw type of pitcher that his whip, walks and hits per innings, will actually be less than 1, but 1 would be, 105 would be great. Yeah, he doesn't give up a whole lot of runs. I mean, his highest ERA is around 3.25. Even though this is, last year he pitched 14 games and then had a ligament strain in his elbow, so they backed him off and put him on the shelf for the rest of the year.
Off the end of the bat to right, there's Reddick. And McCullers, after his team gets in the lead, a shutdown inning as the Orioles go 3 up, 3 down for the first time in this game. Mid-third, 6-3 Astros. is brought to you by PNC Bank, for the achiever in you, and by Chesapeake Employers Insurance, your workers' compensation insurance company. Warm day in Houston, so the kiddies having fun. So the Astros, a 6-run second inning. They have a 6-3 lead, and the day, Jim, is done for Alec Asher.
Yeah, really struggled obviously in the 6-run second inning, and again the walk, and infield hit walk, and then a series of bad pitches. Can't do that against this team. I mean, they're playing at an entirely different level than a lot of teams in baseball. So Evaldo Jimenez comes in, and again this will be his 10th game of the year. 8 of them as starts, as you can see, and again high ERA. And sure he would have liked to have started. The Orioles were trying to get a different look, maybe a more positive outcome. That didn't happen, but we have seen this is the 4th year that Evaldo's been here, that there have been periods where they have sent him to the bullpen and it straightened him out. So we'll see if that's the case.
Carlos Beltran will lead off. And there's a fastball for a strike. Beltran drew a walk after a leadoff single in the second. And that got the Astros going. He fell behind 1-2 and worked the walk. Evaldo's last start was Monday against Minnesota, and he gave back an early lead. Lasted 4 innings, allowed 6 runs on 9 hits.
Yeah, what was it, 5-0? Yeah, Beltran with 3 home runs, 9 for 25, 360 off of Evaldo.
There's Adam Jones, who's getting another day off today. Buck said before the game, the hope is Adam will be back in the lineup tomorrow when the team is home against the Yankees. The other relief appearance for Evaldo was the day he took one for the team in Boston, when Kevin Gosselin was ejected, and he pitched 3 scoreless innings in that game. And then his next start, he took a no decision against the Nationals, but he did pitch into the 8th inning.
And that was a game where he would have left that game with a 1-1 no decision. But because of Britton being out, they tried to give him another inning, and Adam Lynn hit a pinch hit 3-run home run.
This ball's ripped in the right field. That's a base hit. Over the wall as Smith digs it out. Beltran hustling the second base, and he slides in with a double.
Well, it's a kind of a bottom line game. If you're a good hitter, and Beltran's certainly in that classification, and you get balls, you're left-handed. Watch where this ball ends. Look where the glove is, where it ends up. So it's a little splitter that's got him in trouble all year long. He can't really finish it. Lingers in the middle of the plate, and he deposits it into the corner for a double.
Well, 7 of the 9 hitters now have a base hit. Beltran's been on base twice, and here's Gaddis, who struck out in the second inning, but on the strikeout, a wild pitch allowed the 2 runners to advance. Let's bounce to Manny. He'll freeze Beltran, throws behind Beltran. He caught him off the bag, and Scope runs him down and tags him out. Alert play by Manny Machado.
Well, Gordon Lakey's longtime pro scout, now with the Phillies, lived in Toronto. His comment today, he said he put on a tutorial the first 2 games of how to play third base, and there's another one. You can put that right up there in maybe chapter 3. Take it, you got plenty of time. You know who's running. You got one of the best throwing arms, if not the best throwing arm of any third baseman. So you see if you have a chance to get the lead runner, who happens to be in scoring position, and then you do.
Scope alertly getting in position there.
So that play erases the double.
So Gaddis on at first with 1 down. And Marwin Gonzalez takes a breaking ball for a strike. Gonzalez, a big blow. They got the first 2 runs in, a 2-run double the opposite way. He just did miss a 3-run homer. He hit it into the cutout out there by the Orioles bullpen. So with Asher's early departure, the Orioles starter streak will now go 17 consecutive games without a starter having a win. They came in 0-7 with 9 no decisions in their past 16 games. The last starter to win a game was Kevin Gosselin on May 8th against the Nationals 20 days ago.
And there are a couple of occasions. Bundy's last start against the Twins, where he's outpitched by Santana, certainly pitched well enough to win. Gosselin on Friday night.
Yeah, a couple of 2-0 losses.
The majority has been that where they, the no decisions. We've seen them have big leads and then not be able to hold them. And what about probably 4 occasions over this 15-game span where they've only won 3 games, and the other ones they haven't pitched well. And that's so taxing on your long man.
This ball's ripped down the line. That is a foul ball. Man, everything Gonzalez hits is hard.
A little bit like Beltran, splitter that's not going down. So it's 83, and kind of like batting practice. A lot of guys, batting practice is probably in the mid-80s.
Marwin Gonzalez wearing that protective face guard. And Davis holding the bag on Gaddis with 1 down. Marwin Gonzalez facing Evaldo. He's just 1 for 9 against Jimenez. All 3. Gonzalez working the count. He's about to see his 7th pitch in this at bat. Runner goes. 3-2 is swung on, hit back to Evaldo. Goes to second in time and back to first for a double play. Wow.
Yeah, if you do it right, Jim, and you make sure you know who's covering and you get rid of the ball quickly. Now, they may challenge this. What's this right here? Nice grab, no hesitation, snap throw. You know you're at least going to get the force out. So why not try to get the lead running? And again, because Giannis is so quick to the ball. And they certainly would like to be in a position to add another run here with 2 outs.
And the 30 seconds should be up.
Yeah, I love it when you look in and, for the Orioles, it's John Russell on the phone with a video guy, and he's got the phone in one hand, the stopwatch in the other, because you do have 30 seconds.
So A.J. Hinch will challenge. Bang, bang play. The umpire seemed to react to the trail leg, the knee being in the air, but the foot may have been down ahead of the throw. But again, there has to be evidence that the call was wrong for them to overturn it, and you never know what New York is going to see.
And the count is so important because 3-2 he's running. And if it's 2-2, he's not running. It would have been an easy double play ball. It's worth the risk. And again, you got a veteran pitcher. So yeah, look, to me the foot's already on the bag there, but might be another angle that they have a chance to look at.
Well, based on that replay, he's safe.
Yeah.
Gaddis is out there at second base. He's convinced they're going to overturn this. I got to give Gaddis credit. He hustled. Running on the pitch, as Jim mentioned, but he hustled in there. But again, you just never know what New York's going to see. And we're about to get our verdict. And he is safe. And that is the right call. So that'll be a 1-6-3 ground out of Gonzalez, and Gaddis safe at second.
So Evaldo gets an assist on that.
Yep.
Just as if he had been the one that threw it to first base.
Yuli Gurriel doubled a drive in a run, then scored in the second.
Again, again, when you only walk 4 times, you're a first ball hitter on 156 at bats. It doesn't mean you can't throw him a fastball or whatever. He just can't be in the middle of the plate, which is what Alec Asher did. He's got a very hittable pitch.
Gurriel from Cuba will turn 33 in June. The Astros signed him to a 5-year contract for just under $50 million. In his big league debut in Baltimore last August. Bouncer towards the middle, and it gets through for a base hit. Rickard was very deep, and he's not going to have a play. And here's Gaddis to score, and it's 7-3 in favor of the Astros.
Well, A.J. Hinch, who manages this team, very aggressive. You know, with Gaddis, you didn't have to run on the ball that could have been turned into a double play, but he does run 3 and 2, and then right here, it's just routine ground ball. Didn't overswing, shoots it back in the middle.
So a big 2-out base hit to get a run in. Four of the 7 runs have been driven in with 2 down. It's a fastball by Aoki, 0-1. Aoki bounced out the scope his first at bat. 7 unanswered runs in a 7-3 lead. Bit low. Dylan Bundy gets the baseball tomorrow as the Orioles return home. The Yankees come into town. There's another base hit. Aoki goes the opposite way. He's trying for 2, and he's going to make it. A Stoke can't handle the throw.
Yeah, you're almost defensible if you're Evaldo Jimenez. You know, your velocity's not very good, so it's 90, 88 to 91. Splitter's not working. Curveball's a low percentage pitch, and they know that. And again, the approach probably would have been out if he catches it, but it hits him up on the hill of the glove. Otherwise, he would have just dropped it, and the Orioles would have been out of the inning. But that's not the case. Runners at second and third with 2 outs.
So 2 more in scoring position. Turns the lineup around again. Here's George Springer. Astros have 9 base hits, all in the last 2 innings.
Yeah, and Springer, again, low average, high average of runners in scoring position, over 300. They came in as a team at 275. But again, like we said, Altuve was at 200. That's going to change. He's a good hitter. Yeah, the runner in scoring position numbers, not only for a team, but individually can change very quickly because you just don't get that many at bats. So you get a couple of hits, and all of a sudden they change dramatically.
And it gets through Castillo, and coming to the plate is Gurriel. Right through the legs of Castillo.
Yeah, I don't know how they'll score it, but that's not a pitch that you let get by you. That's the way they've been playing in all facets of the game. Not as good defensively. I mean, like a little breaking ball, and it's in the air. It'll go right through his legs because he just doesn't catch it. One of those tough games where you've gotten beaten against a team that's playing at a high level. There's a low strike. And while you don't, I mean, you are a professional and you don't want to lose focus. I think this, again, the way when you're into this pattern of 15, 16 games where you're not winning like you expect to win, it's easy. Not justifiable, but it's easy. But again, the teams that do that are not teams that usually are winning teams, unfortunately.
That was, by the way, scored a wild pitch. As Gurriel scampered in from third. 3-0 to 3-2 on Springer. And he got him. Castillo hangs on to it. The inning ends, but 2 more for the Astros. We head to the 4th in a 7-3, 8-3 game. The all-wheel drive RAV4. Toyota, what drives you? Visit buyatoyota.com for great deals. And the Orioles now trail by 5. An 8-3 score. Rejected O's fans. Lower third of the lineup against McCullers. Kim, Rickard, and Giannis. Well, the Astros have the best record in baseball at 34-16. And for A.J. Hinch, their starters, Jim, have 23 of those 34 wins.
Yeah, and they're looking for a 5th starter. And Brad Peacock's going to pitch tomorrow. Colin McHugh, who won 13 games, 19 games the year before, has been out with elbow and shoulder problems. So they're hoping to get him back sometime, in the month of July. Starting to play catch again. I get a chance when you look at some of the numbers, even though, I mean, the end-all number of 34-16 is pretty important, but they have some players that actually could pick up their performance.
A leadoff walk. That is the first walk allowed by McCullers in this game, and Kim has been on base twice.
And you can see how frustrated he is, because that's the last thing he wanted to do with a 5-run lead. Because when you put people on, it does open up holes. Gurriel will hold Kim at first on the base.
Rickard was called out on strikes his first at bat. He came up with first and second and nobody down. For the first 3 pitches was showing bunt. And then the bunt was taken off and he eventually struck out. Fouled off.
Yeah, one of those protective screens that they've put in a lot of the ballparks.
And that one was right over the Astros dugout.
Yep.
Kim at first, the leadoff walk. Foul out of play, so Rickard fighting it off to stay alive. Joey getting his second straight start at center field with Adam Jones sitting it out. Tomorrow in the first game against the Yankees, Jordan Montgomery, the left-hander, goes for New York against Dylan Bundy.
Now, 2 young pitchers. I mean, Montgomery really pitching well. Talk about 5th starters. They sent him out initially. We saw him in pitch well against the Orioles in New York. But again, looks like he's got a pretty good idea of how to pitch. He's also like 6'5", throws right over the top.
Down holding 0-2 on Rickard. And he got him. So down on strikes goes Joey Rickard for a second time, and that is 6 Ks for McCullers.
You know, he occasionally throws a cut fastball, and maybe this is one of them because no, it looks like it's a hook against that hard curveball. Call it a knuckle curveball. He just kind of puts the finger up like you throw almost a knuckleball, but instead of two knuckles, it's one, and then throws it, as he puts it, as hard as he can.
Strike 1 to Paul Janisch, getting a start at shortstop today. What the Orioles did a real good job of early on is now going the opposite way, and that's winning series. The Orioles have lost back-to-back series, and they've lost 5 of their last 6. And that's how you lose 6 in a row and drop 12 out of 15. Quickly 0-2 on Paul Janisch. Didn't mean to swing, and the ball hit the bat. Janisch getting a chance to play with Ryan Flaherty on the DL. Ryan's down in Sarasota rehabbing his injured shoulder. He is there with Zach Britton, who's rehabbing his injured forearm.
They play catch together. That's what Zach's doing, and then Ryan will progress into that. After the shoulder injury that bothered him in spring training.
Double play ball. There's Correa to Altuve. And back to first. Double play ends the inning. So the leadoff walk doesn't hurt. Mid-4th, Astros with an 8-3 lead. outstanding job at third. A few real nice plays in this game. Look at that across his body to get it across to first base. Machado with Beltran at second. Caught Beltran off too far, and Scope able to run him down. That eliminated a runner in scoring position. So Machado, as usual, playing a stellar third base.
He did not win the Gold Glove last year. Adrian Beltre, who's been injured. He's had a calf problem. This man, he played a lot of shortstop last year because of the injury to J.J. Hardy, the broken left foot. I don't know if anybody plays it better or as well.
Want to know on Josh Reddick. As Evaldo stays on. Reddick tripled and scored in the 6-run second inning. Reddick now 30 years old. Popped him up, back of the plate. Castillo's going to run out of room. It'll be a quick turnaround for the Orioles with the day game tomorrow. About a 3-hour flight home, plus you lose an hour changing from the central to the eastern time zones. Reddick drafted by the Red Sox back in 2006. He's been with Boston, Oakland, the Dodgers, and now Houston. And he came here on a 4-year contract that goes through 2020. The Astros do have some fine outfield prospects at AAA, but they wanted a veteran.
Well, they wanted a veteran that, we talked about it on Friday night. He struggled that first month. Got traded right at the deadline last year and then hit 400 in September. But I mean, can hit home runs, but he's also a plus outfielder with a good throwing arm. There's a good splitter. There's one that goes down. Yeah, again, I never threw a splitter, but it's a field pitch. You got to be able to get your arm out in front. You got to be able to throw it from a strike to ball, and lately it's been strike to strike. So when you do that, it becomes hittable. There's a good one.
Second strikeout for Evaldo, working his second inning. Here's Jose Altuve, RBI single, and the 6-run rally in the second. His 57th base hit. Began the day tied for 5th in base hits. Hops this one up. Davis in foul ground has it for the out, and 2 men down. Let's get a look at our PNC minor league report. PNC for the Achiever and you. And how about this, Jim? The Frederick Keys had a long span. How long? How about 28 years in between a player having a 3-home run game, and then in the span of 3 days they had 2 players have 3 home run games. Austin Hayes on Wednesday at Potomac, and then Ryan Mountcastle 3 Friday against Bowie's Creek. 10,271 days without a 3 home run game, and then they do it twice in 3 days. That's amazing.
Was the wind blowing out?
I don't know. I was here with you.
I think
Correa with a base hit the opposite way.
Well, that's why. He was right up there at the first players chosen in the draft, because he can do that. What an approach. Nothing more frustrating if you make a fairly good pitcher's pitch and the guy just hits it the other way. And then when and by doing that, what you do is you force pitchers to pitch inside, and when you have a quick bat and you're big and strong and young, that's where you hit home runs.
So a 2-out single keeps it going. It's Beltran up again. His 3rd plate appearance.
Yeah, in the 4th inning. Only 2 switch hitters in the history of the game with more extra base hits, and that's what Eddie Murray, with just under 1,100, then Chipper Jones.
Davis gloves, and he'll step on the base, and that'll end the inning. Chris Davis continuing to play outstanding defense. 2 out single, a man left. We head to the 5th. The Birds looking for runs. In a rough stretch for the Orioles, they have dropped 12 of their last 15 games, including the last 6. They've lost 12 of 16 on the road. 3 runs or less scored in 5 of the last 6, and all those games losses. And in the last 6 games, just a .204 batting average, and 4 of the 5 home runs they hit solo home runs. And of course, this team lives by the home run. The good news for the Orioles, Jim, is they are heading home. They get back in the AL East where they have been competitive, but they need something to shake this around and get it going in a positive direction.
Well, they need a 6-run inning here, and if not, you figure it out by tomorrow. I guess if you're a half-glass full guy, you go, well, just a little over the quarter mark, so you have 3/4 of the season to go to change it, and you do. I mean, that's whether you're a negative or positive person.
I think it's true about teams that when you're in a funk like this, you're really not as bad of a team as you look at the moment. And, this is the same team that through May the 8th had the best record in baseball.
Well, you hope that's the case. You know, obviously, I mean, there's been some injuries. Everybody gets injuries. Buck always downplays them. Talking about Buck Showalter.
Gurriel wide of the bag and the flip to McCullers.
Yeah, did a nice job there getting to it quickly. That way you can get the feed to McCullers quickly and able to find the bag.
Well, the Red Sox are back in town June 1st through the 4th, and great seats remain for the entire 4-game series, and it features some great promotional items, all highlighted by the Manny Machado starting lineup figure on Saturday, June 3rd. For your tickets, Orioles.com or 888-848-BIRD.
Yeah, you can look. I mean, this is the 48th game they played, and you can look at the 25 wins, and you're going, how did we win those games? And then you can look at the 22 losses, and you go, well, how did we lose those games? We had substantial leads. That's where the injury does come into play. When you lose one of the best closers in baseball, it does change the whole dynamic of your bullpen. Now, that doesn't explain for the fact that the starters haven't pitched as well as they can, or they've been a little bit sloppy defensively. But those are things you can change. But if you ever played the game, talking about them doesn't change it. You just got to get better. You got to figure out. You got to stay focused.
There's a 3-pitch strikeout of Johnathan Stewart.
And then, what couples the difficulty is when you have a young kid here, and it's not that he just made Scope look bad. This is pretty much the way he's made everybody look bad. And again, more strikeouts against the Orioles, 21 strikeouts in 14 and a third innings, 22 consecutive scoreless innings, as you mentioned. That ended because they didn't play very well defensively, but the Orioles had a chance to have a real big inning and couldn't do it, and they did.
Manny gets into the breaking ball. Correa back onto the outfield grass, and he gets Machado. So Manny 0 for 3 in a very quick 3-up, 3-down inning. Mid-5th with the Astros in front. Baseball on Masson is brought to you by Ocean City. Put your vacation days to good use in Ocean City. Book now at ococean.com. And by Navy Federal, proudly serving the armed forces and their families for over 80 years, federally insured by NCUA. Daytime baseball at Minute Maid Park with the roof closed. Orioles had a 3-0 lead heading to the bottom of the second. Astros got 6 in the second, 2 in the third, and now lead at 8-3. Alec Asher, who started, lasted just 2 innings. He got out of the first 3-batter inning, hit batter than a double play and a ground out. But he did not survive as he allowed 6 runs facing 10 batters in the second inning. And Asher, who started today in the spot vacated by Evaldo Jimenez, and now Evaldo's on a relief.
Well, the good news is you do, in case you ever get a chance to start again, get to work on your pitches. You get to work on the assortment. We've seen a couple of bad splitters, but we saw some better ones last inning. And people will downplay it if he pitches well. Well, it was, didn't mean a whole lot, but if you're a veteran guy like he is, I mean, you take this pretty seriously, and you know what you're trying to do. I mean, you're trying to give him really pitch all the way to the end of the game. Certainly capable of doing that because that's what he's been doing.
Popped them up. A mile high. Here comes Manny taking charge. And in fact, Roundy has it for the out. And one away here in the 5th inning. Hey fans, remember, anytime the O's score 4 runs or more, you win free McDonald's Chicken McNuggets. Download the McDonald's app today. Available at Baltimore area McDonald's. Very loud here at Minute Maid Park with the roof closed. Very muggy outside, so they have the roof closed more times than not. Air conditioning going.
Yeah, they have a humidity that is unmatched in some towns. I mean, you have to go to New Orleans and places like that. But when you walk outside here, you know what humidity is. I remember going to my first spring training out of Arizona, where they had, back in the '60s, they didn't have a whole lot of humidity. A little bit more than there used to be because of all the pools and more population, but I got off the jetway to change planes to go to Tallahassee and then drive to Thomasville, Georgia, and I go, what is this?
Breaking ball for a strike. 2-1 on Marwin Gonzalez.
Yeah, he didn't expect that. Well, 2 home runs away from his high. Getting towards the end of May.
He's down to a knee after the foul ball. 2-2.
Right there, he hooked him 2-0, and then right here he did get what he was looking for. Trying to make it home number 12. High leg kick, loads.
Slap foul, back out of play. Gonzalez a 2-run double in the second. They needed a comebacker that Evaldo thought he had turned to double play, but after a review, Gaddis was ruled safe at second. And that was a big play because following that, the Astros added 2 runs. So that 6-3 lead became 8-3. And another 3-2 count. Both these teams are on the move after the game. The Astros head up to Minnesota, and the Orioles head home to take on the Yankees. Another foul ball. Some love for the fans in the upper deck. Oh, and they dropped it all the way down below.
Yeah, this ballpark almost like an amphitheater because it goes up so high and you're kind of hovering over. Maybe what, the fourth deck? Really?
There's a line drive to center field, and Marwin Gonzalez stays hot. 1-out single. And he hustles into second base with a double. Well, we invite you to check out the brand new MASN All Access show on MASN Orioles social media platforms. The new daily show will be broadcast on Facebook Live and feature a look at that night's game, fan tweets, Q&As with players, and much more. So follow MASN Orioles on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, and Snapchat for MASN All Access.
Yeah, so they will give Rickard an error, at least they should, because he stopped. So that's the fourth error of the ball game, 2 by the Orioles, 2 by the Astros. They played it kind of nonchalantly and then didn't catch it.
And with the play in front of him, Gonzalez hustling. Billy Gurriel 2 for 2, and each hit has driven in a run. RBI double in the second, RBI single in the third. Reaches forward and pops a foul back this way. Gurriel came into this game just 3 for his last 24, and he's 2 for 2. 1 hit off Asher, 1 hit off Evaldo. And the 1-2 is swung on, a foul back on the screen.
Yeah, his brother signed a 7-year, I think $22 million, somewhere in that number, contract with the Blue Jays. Infielder, outfielder. Lourdes Gurriel out of Cuba.
A lot of talent in Latin America. And then the pitch taken low, 2-2. I mean, you look at the Astros lineup. Today's lineup, Altuve and Gonzalez are both from Venezuela. Correa and Beltran are both from Puerto Rico, and Gurriel is from Cuba. And they also have Aoki from Japan. Swing and a miss, he got him. 2 men down.
Yeah, terrific pitch. So the splitter a little bit better as the innings have progressed. Start in the strike zone. Again, they strike the ball. Splitter, very effective. Yeah, the Orioles don't believe in it. And again, if you look at a lot of the transactions over the last couple of years, it's been where they trade away the international money for young pitchers.
Aoki jumping out of the way and then lost his balance. Astros are going for their 4th series sweep on the year.
And at home.
They are off to their best 50-game start in franchise history.
Terrific pitch again.
Just inside, 2-1.
I was reading about the Brewers today because the Orioles play them early July. They actually go to Milwaukee for 3 games, and then Minnesota. They took the international draft choice for Damian Magnifico and signed a young player out of Cuba. The draft, I think that pick was worth something like $875,000, and they spent a little bit over $900,000 to get a young player. Ernesto Martinez Jr.
2-2 with 2 men down, runner at second base. Foul back out of play.
Yeah, the double he hit, the ball was down. The one up, he just fights off.
He's a youthful looking 35 years old.
Well, that's because he's been good everywhere he goes. There's not a lot of stress.
6th big league season. And he went too far. Couldn't check in time, and Evaldo gets out of it. Back-to-back Ks to end the inning. So we'll head to the 6th. Mazda do-ups for the Orioles: Trumbo, Davis, and Castillo. University of Maryland Medical Center by attending a special fundraising event for Shannon's Fund. It'll be held Friday, August 18th at Oriole Park. Ticket packages for the event begin as low as $50 and include a game ticket and an exclusive pregame barbecue on the center field roof deck. For tickets and more information, please visit Orioles.com/Shannon's Fund. Of course, all in memory of our dear friend Shannon O'Baker, who was much too young at the age of 29. And the colors out there for the 6th inning.
And that pitch count pretty well in hand at 84.
Well, it's pretty good considering he was at 49 after 2 innings. But he's got 12, 15, and 7 the last 3 innings.
Well, again, part of being pitching against him, and Alec Asher couldn't do it, and you can see the pitch count at 23 and 26. Is make your guys think they have a chance to win. And when you get into the big innings and then you get down by 5 runs, as it turns out, after having a 3-0 lead, I think your hitters do lose focus if you don't keep them close. You always try to. That's why one of the things you always try to do as a starter is not to have the big innings. Somehow stay away from that. So your guys always think that, hey, one at bat, get on for the next guy. Then you're back in the game. A little bit harder to do when you're down by 5.
And the 2-2 is low ball 3. Number 40 strikeouts, just 8 called strike threes. And there's a leadoff walk, so Trumbo with a good at bat. Second walk allowed by Lance McCullers. And Chris Davis has strikeout total since 2013. And he has 2 strikeouts here today. So this was coming in. He's now at 73, and both were called strike threes. Making ball for a strike.
Yeah, I mean, again, if he's not going to even be able to cover the outside corner, or does it make you look? And it's such a visual game when you're pitching. You do all the film, but you watch, okay, is he going to cover the outside part of the plate? And the answer is no, so he's just going to keep throwing it. And he has the capability, because it's his best pitch, to do it. We got a text from Boog Powell. He said it's very much like Blyleven's curveball. Can't tell you the whole text, but that was part of it. Kind of alluded to the fact that it locks you up a little bit.
Yep. Oh, good to know Boog is watching.
Yeah, Boog always watches. Well, not always, but a lot of the times.
Off the end of the bat, left center field. Who's it going to be? It's Aoki. And the left fielder has it for the out.
Well, a little bit better, at least for Chris. You know, finally getting not only plate coverage, but also a little bit more of a hittable pitch. Yeah, he will get out of his slump when he thinks of center field. And all the good hitters. And I still talk about every time we go to Boston. You know, Boog Powell hit 350 home runs in his career. Was MVP 1 year, second the year before. He had 3 home runs to left field in one night in Fenway. It means you're on your game.
Well, Chris is a very good opposite field hitter.
Well, when I first met Scott Coolbaugh, he was the hitting instructor for Texas, and the Orioles, he came out of a trade. Coach Uehara going down for Tommy Hunter and Chris Davis, and I said, and they had Smoke and they had Marlin. Smoke now with Toronto, Marlin playing with the Red Sox, and I said, so why is Chris Davis the best of all 3 of them? He said left center, pointed to left center field, and work ethic.
Here's a bloop the other way. That's going to fall for a base hit. So Castillo doing what you said earlier, Jim. Sometimes when you're looking to break out of a mini slump, go with the pitch. This copyrighted telecast is presented by authority of the Orioles. It may not be reproduced or retransmitted in any form, and the accounts and descriptions of this game may not be disseminated without the express written consent of the Orioles. Been a couple on with only 1 down. Orioles scored 2 in the first, 1 in the second. They've been outscored 8-0 since. And here's Hyun-Soo Kim. He's had a good day. Kim singled in the second, then walked in the fourth. And that was a 3-game hitting streak going.
Well, he does too many things well not to be able to eventually, when he gets a chance to play, which is hadn't played as much as last year, be able to figure it out. I mean, he hit over 300. I think a lot of people were critical. Well, he didn't drive in that many runs, but he hit over 300 runners in scoring position. He just didn't get as many opportunities. Hard throwing Michael Feliz, and these are the innings that he usually pitches.
Bridge the gap innings.
That warm-up sleeve, I don't believe you could come into a game with that white sleeve on, but maybe that's just something he warms up with.
I think that would be illegal.
You would, white ball, white sleeve. I always kind of thought if I played for the A's, I could have worn white shoes. Size 14s, throw it up there, get high leg kick, scratching.
You should have lobbied for the Orioles to wear white shoes.
Will Weaver in white shoes. I'm not sure about that.
King goes down on strikes.
Yeah, again, it looks like it's hittable, but if you don't pick it up because of the spin ratio, they call it spin rate, this is what he does. Strikes people out with this pitch. And it's hard, and he has confidence in it. I mean, anytime in your first 41 batters with 3-2 counts, you throw it 35 at a time, you trust that pitch.
Well, and he's averaging 10 strikeouts per game.
What I thought was kind of intriguing is when he had the ligament problem last year, Scott Boras is his agent. He hooked him up with Neil Adatraj, who's one of the Curlin Job doctors, who actually, I mean, you know, one of the best sports medicine guys. He did gain his knees. And he asked Lance McCullers, how do you throw your curveball? And he said, actually, that takes less stress on your elbow than your fastball. So keep throwing it. So he rested the ligament and appears to be healthy. In fact, Brian Ebel, the assistant to Richie Van Zels, the Oriole trainer, told me that when they do studies on the arm and at the fastball, when you try to throw, you know, radar gun conscious early on, it's more injurious to elbows than breaking balls.
Rickard is 0 for 2 with a couple of strikeouts. Getting another start in center field.
Well, if it wasn't for the injury to Adam Jones, he would not be playing against McCullers. And you're seeing why. He, you know, rushed to the big leagues last year. Did well. Didn't hurt the thumb. And missed the last, you know, from July on, so pretty much August and September. And there are some matchups that are just less advantageous than others. Well, if you know Joey Rickard, he's going to battle him and hope that he'll get something up in the zone. It hasn't really been the case yet.
Right to the third baseman Gonzalez. He'll flip to second. Almost threw it away, but Altuve made the play. And of course they're on Castillo. So a walk, a hit, but 2 left. Mid-6th, 8-3 Astros.
Highlights early lead for the Orioles, trying to break a 6-game losing streak, and Scope with a 2-run home run makes it 2-0. Add another run, take a 3-0 lead, and here come the Astros in their second inning. They will send 10 runners to the plate. They will come up with 6 runs. Springer, second home run of this series, a launch job off of Alec Asher, and they now lead at 8-3. Those are your Geico highlights. 15 minutes could save you 15% or more on car insurance. Visit geico.com to see how much you could save.
Evaldo stays on. He took over in the third. He's about to pitch his 4th inning. The Orioles have only 5 hits off Lance McCullers, but they did get an early lead. 2 batters into the game, it was 2-0 O's. He's popped up foul back in the stands. Smith, one of his better recent at-bats, going against the shift, and he just slapped it to left field for a single, and then Schoop at a 2-run home run. But as Jim Palmer mentioned, the big inning was the top of the second. 2 errors, a couple of hits. Orioles had a chance to break it open, and they couldn't do it. They settled for 1 run, despite 7 men coming to the plate and left the bases loaded.
He didn't get cheated a whole lot, does he? 178 strikeouts last year, but high on base percentage for George Springer. 88 walks and 29 home runs. Plus defender.
He's out of Avon, Connecticut, played in college at the University of Connecticut.
Yeah, I asked him down on the field on Friday, and I said, how much baseball did you really play? He said, a very short season.
Well, the weather just not conducive. 29 home runs last year, career high. He's now in his 4th season. And as a rookie, he hit 20. And another 3-2 count. Ground ball towards short. There's Giannis. And to his left makes the play, and 1 down. As Evaldo retires the leadoff man. On Sunday, June 4th, all fans 14 and under receive a youth bat and ball set presented by Play Ball. And you can gear up for a great birdland summer while your family enjoys a day game out at Oriole Park at Camden Yards. That's at 1:35 against the Red Sox. And kids ages 4 to 14 run the bases after the game. Tickets are going fast, so get your tickets and come on out and join us. Orioles.com or 888-848-BIRD. Reddick towards the hole, Schoop to his left, and 2 outs.
Yeah, nicely done. Well, we talked about, I mean, this is an opportunity for Evaldo, who is obviously frustrated, as is everybody that wants him to do well. I mean, that's from his manager to his pitching coach, to his family, to fans. An opportunity to at least have a positive outcome. Now, maybe the Orioles won't win, but he will prove to himself, number one, and he'll prove to a lot of other people, Jim. I mean, because no matter how much money you make, you have pride. He would like to pitch better than he has. You know, anytime you have an ERA of over 7 runs a game, you're not pleased what's going on.
Center field off the bat of Altuve. Rickard will run it down. And for the first time in this game, the Astros go in order, 3 up, 3 down. We head to the 7th, 8-3 game.
It's only 1 loss. He will again quit himself quite well. 8 strikeouts. Gave up the 2-run home run to Schoop. And then they didn't play well behind them defensively, so a lot of strikes, a lot of curveballs, a lot of strikeouts, very few walks, and a chance to win for the 6th time. Michael Feliz will come in hard throwing right-hander, and I mean hard throwing right-hander. Average fastball 95 to 97, and then a slider, hard slider to go with it, and a pretty good changeup. Low numbers across the board, righties and lefties, and able to, you can see as a fly ball pitcher, still keep the ball in the ballpark. And the white sleeve does come on.
That's a good number.
Well, it's a good number because that you start looking at guys and you grade them. Wins and losses, but inherited runners.
Well, Giannis is hitless. A couple of ground outs.
And he's come in with 18 inherited runners and only 4 have scored. He's done a nice job in that category.
Well, he's right on that one. He fouls it straight back. And he's down 0-2. Well, the Astros, despite the best starting pitching in the league, continue to go with an 8-man bullpen. They have just a 3-man bench, but it's been working. So A.J. Hinch has extra options in that bullpen. Bounces away 1-2 on Giannis.
Well, if you look at Beltran, I mean, if he's going to DH, he's a switch hitter. You've got Gonzalez who can play all over, another switch hitter. You probably don't need any. You have a young team in a lot of respects. And then still looking, for the 5th starter, as we mentioned. But again, maybe feels because you don't have McHugh back, and your 4th and 5th starters have struggled, even though, I mean, if you look at what's gone on, I mean, Morton comes over after having a hamstring problem. He's won 5 games. McCullers will win game 6 today if they win. Keichel's 8-0.
And as you pointed out earlier, it's been a tough week for the Orioles. The quality of the starters they're facing. I mean, no excuses. I mean, they're still big leaguers. You got to play, but they saw Aaron Sanchez and Marco Estrada last weekend against the Blue Jays.
Well, Estrada can put anybody into a slump because, again, he's not overpowering, but he changes speeds, throws the ball downhill. The Orioles won the first 2 games in that series and then just got outpitched. And then the Twins came in and swept it.
3-2 is foul back, so a quality at bat here by Giannis.
But when you go in, whether you go into Fenway Park when they get David Price back or whatever, or you go to play good teams, and it's almost like the playoffs. How do your starting pitchers match up against theirs? And I think that's always been the question about the Orioles. You'd like to think, I mean, Bundy's been great. Tillman's back, still trying to reach his form.
And Giannis, a soft line drive, but Altuve back on.
So you can go right down the list. Gosselin hasn't pitched up to his capabilities. When he does on Friday, they don't score many runs.
Well, Michael Feliz now in the game, and our pitching change is brought to you by Jiffy Lube. Jiffy Lube stores now do brake services, so stop in and let Jiffy Lube perform a free brake inspection today. Here's Seth Smith batting with 1 out and nobody on. They're shifting on him again. Smith singled in the first to get the Orioles going. The Astros must be convinced that the Orioles are just not going to bunt against the shift, because they continue to shift on Seth Smith and on Chris Davis, and I mean, Marwin Gonzalez is well back at shortstop. They get the scouting reports and they see the tendencies, and it's just not something the Orioles do.
They talk about it. Every spring, Buck Showalter says we will be able to do that. We were talking about it at dinner last night. We played to the scoreboard, trying to get on, trying to get base runners. I mean, how did the Twins come back in the first of the game? He just throws that ball right by him. But how did they come back? The Joe Mauer base hit on a bunt. And some high heat right here. 97 up in the zone. Can't catch up. But that's how it set up the whole rally. They were, the Twins were down 5-0, 6-1, and back and walloped the Orioles. And it all started with just a bunt. They gave him the bunt, and he took it.
Still homered in the first, and then picked up another RBI with an infield single in the second. And a ball that was bobbled by Correa, and Johnathan hustled the first. Ball and a strike. So in the colors, yet another quality start, even though he fell behind early 3-0.
There's the hard slider. Yeah, once you establish fastball, I mean, I think it's great when you have a curveball like McCullers, and you can be on the front cover of SI, but not too many guys can throw a curveball like he can. But at the end of the day, if you can throw 97 and you do it early on, you establish that you better get the bat going, and it makes all your other pitchers better. If you have that kind of arm, and he has it. Yeah, I got a text from Dave Johnson. I thought the home run that Johnathan hit was a fastball. I mean, it was straight, but he said he went back and looked at the film. It looked like it was a changeup at almost 90, but it was very hittable, and Johnathan didn't miss it. And you think all of a sudden maybe McCullers is going to have a bad day, and that wasn't the case.
Well, the second inning was the key. He worked around the 2 errors, stranded the bases loaded, and the Orioles set up for 1 run. Foul tip held by Gaddis. And the 7th inning stretch, the Hyundai Better Than Ever sales event with the best total savings on select models in Hyundai's history. It's going on now at your Hyundai dealer. Monday, the best of the week. Trey Mancini made the list. The farthest inside pitch to a right-handed batter, center of the plate to hit it out. 1.30 for Trey Mancini. And how about Mark Trumbo? The highest pitch hit for a home run, 4.62 feet, which Jim and I believe means above the top of the strike zone. And he clubbed it out. So 2 Orioles making the list on our StatCast Sunday. And here are some of the others. Well, Trumbo, the highest pitch. How about Yan Gomes? He hit one out 10.5 inches off the ground. Mike Trout, farthest outside pitch to a right-handed batter on April 21st. You saw Trey Mancini's home run. It was all based on where the ball is pitched and then ends up. Farthest outside pitch to a lefty. That was Ian Happ of the Cubs. And Gregory Polanco, farthest pitch to a left-handed batter, 1.29 feet.
All kinds of numbers and hats.
Fedoras. I like the orange hat. That's a good look. Brooksy jersey.
Oh, there's really he's kind of blending. Too much contrast.
He knows the words to Deep in the Heart of Texas.
Well, better.
Wearing Oriole garb.
We're married to somebody from Texas. I even know those. Well,
are you quizzed often?
No. No, but I did with my cold or whatever they call it down here, air conditioning itis. It is cold. I mean, the hotel lobbies were cold. The press room was freezing. This booth was freezing on Friday night. So all my Twitter fans say chicken noodle. My wife says, no, it's barbecue and beer down here. It'll cure any cold. And if the barbecue doesn't, just drink a lot of beer. So now you know, Jim.
I'm learning from you.
So, again, one of our keys to the game for Alec Asher was innings. Well, he wasn't able to do it, but Evaldo Jimenez has been able to.
Breaking ball hit to right center field. A long run for Rickard. And Joey gets there, has it for the out, 1 down. And as Correa skies out. Fans, MLB.TV Premium is back, and it's better than ever. Watch every out-of-market regular season game live on over 400 supported devices. Plus, get a free subscription to At-Bat Premium, the #1 app for live baseball. Blackout and other restrictions apply. Visit MLB.TV for details. Gonzalez retired 6 in a row.
Yeah, 3rd time through the order for him. So another challenge. Pretend you're starting. Beltran doubled first batter he faced, but the command's been a lot better since then.
Well, he is pitching, even though out of the bullpen on normal rest, because this would have been his start.
Yeah, see, I look at his windup, and yeah, it's unusual, and yes, he kind of wraps the ball and all that, but I just look at the front side, and I mean, there's no extension with his front side. I mean, you see a lot of pitchers, the arm gets extended. It's almost like you took your glove off, and I said, grab some air. If you do that, where's your arm? It has to be out front. So Evaldo's 6'5", but he doesn't really come down the slope, and he goes left so quickly. But if you watch his front side, the left arm just watch it collapse. See, I mean, it just stays right by him. And so I look at him and I'm going, okay, he's 33, he's lost some velocity, and I know a lot of guys have worked with him. But again, if he could get the left arm out in front and not open quite as much, I mean, you can see his head actually stays behind. It never gets over his front shoulder or over his front side. So I don't know if he'll be where he'll pitch next year because his contract is running out, but somebody's going to get him, and maybe it'll be the Pirates with Ray Searage, and they're going to say, okay, hey, your front side, the gate doesn't need to open as much, the lines will be a little bit better, velocity will go up, direction will go up, and he'll be able to pitch at the big leagues with more success. And it's not that people haven't tried.
James
Hoyt, yeah, he pitched last night. Tall right-hander.
Popped him up. Out of scope. Here comes Rickard.
Yeah, a lot of work.
And a second consecutive 3-up, 3-down inning for Evaldo. who has now retired the last 8 batters he's faced. Now it's time for the Unlimited Baseball break, brought to you by T-Mobile. Well, up at Rogers Center, Rangers beat the Blue Jays 3-1. Toronto went 0-for-7 with runners in scoring position. Yankees came back and beat Oakland 9-5. Aaron Judge, a grand slam for his 16th home run. Yankees are at Camden Yards tomorrow. Mariners lead the Red Sox 5-0 in the ninth. Boston has its 6-game winning streak on the line. And the Rays are leading in Minnesota 3-2 in the seventh. Alex Cobb, another strong start.
And James Hoyt will come on back-to-back nights. Last night, inning in the third hold of the year. This will be the 11th game. 8 of them scoreless. Hard throwing righty. Big strikeout this year. In fact, the Astros bullpen #1 in the American League in strikeouts.
Two of 10 have reached the first batter he's seen.
Well, he's averaging 16 strikeouts per 9 innings. That's another good ratio. Maybe that's why one of the reasons they're #1.
Manny has had just 1 at bat against Hoyt, and he hit a home run. Hoyt is out of Boise, Idaho.
It came over from Atlanta in the Evan Gattis trade.
It's ahead of Manny 1-2.
6'6", so great height. Loves the slider. He's coming in and throwing it over 50% of the time along fastball percentage, right around the low 40s, and then the rest of the changeup he throws every once in a while. It's the slider again, but it misses.
So Manny works the count full after falling behind. A ball and 2 strikes. Strike 3 call.
Yeah, he thought, I think it was inside. Don't like the call. Going to let Marty Foster know it. I thought the ball was inside. Take a look. Does it go around the plate? Definitely.
Yeah. It's not a strike.
And again, you don't like to give away at bats. Manny feels that Foster calls him out. Scoreboard doesn't matter. Strike's a strike. Ball's a ball, supposedly. Hoyt gets away with a walk.
This ball's hit to right field very well. Back on it is Reddick, and that ball's going to go. That's a home run for Trumbo.
Is it ever? Well, right center field. Gonna like that approach. Home run number 7. Could have been 8-5 if they get the walk, but a rather large strike zone on the 3-2 pitch. And they'll throw the ball back. Still going to count. RBI number 23, home run number 7.
So the Orioles' second home run in the game. Here's a look at our Lexus of Towson drive of the game, and we just witnessed it. Mark Trumbo going the opposite way for a home run.
Now you take a look right here, and again a fastball. A slider, his best pitch, gets a high fastball. We showed you what. It's not maybe 4.62 feet from the strike zone, but it's up there. Real good high ball hitter, gets one to hit.
Lexus of Towson, the area's #1 volume Lexus dealer for 7 straight years. Come see why at lexusoftowson.com. Two and one on Davis. And for our Maryland lottery contestant of the game, Salima and Bayo, silver string, that's another $500. A couple of home runs in this game. Orioles' 20th multi-home run game of the season. .103 miles an hour off the bat of Trumbo to slug that one out, and he did.
Yeah, to the opposite field.
Tomahawk shot.
Well, Hoyt, who was really not, I mean, he wasn't even drafted, and then he went to an independent league tryout camp, and then Mexican League had some injuries, signed with Atlanta, and then came over here. Well, an opportunity. 31. There's the slider. Yeah, there's just so much movement in Chris Davis. You can see the frustration. That's what 3 strikeouts. So you got to move. You've got 0.4 of a second. You're trying to track it. And it's just hard to do. And again, the ability for this team to, whether it's McCullers with a hard curveball or right there, the slider, close enough to be a strike, but not quite. With 2 strikes, you get hitters to chase.
Castillo's been on base twice. He's 1 out of 3, reached on an error to begin the 2nd inning and scored. Not only would the O's have another run if that strike 3 call to Machado was called a ball, it appeared inside. There'll be another run and 1 fewer out this inning.
Well, they're precious, and they only get 27. Obviously, when you go from 3-0 to being down 8-3, they become even more precious. Just part of the game. Umpires miss pitches, they lose focus. The ball was obviously around the plate. Yeah, to talk about Hoyt, there's an article. Let's see, in 2013, again he signed out of Independence ball. 105 strikeouts in 82 innings, 77 strikeouts in 59. Last year, 93 strikeouts in 55 innings. So there's some combination, and you can see it right there. He's got movement, he's got height at 6'6". again, the ability with the slider to spin the ball, and that gives you movement.
Well, from 3-0 to a full count. Popped up foul wide of first. And that's going to be back in the crowd. Bounces on the Astros dugout.
And just like McCullers, who throw curveballs, he throws sliders 3 and 2.
Slide to right. Reddick is back on it. The ball carries near the wall, and at the wall he makes the catch. So Castillo gives it a ride, and the ballpark holds it. Mark Trumbo gets into one. His 7th the opposite way. Clubbed it out as the Orioles within 4. In a 9-game homestand tomorrow, it all starts with Memorial Day 105 game against the Yankees. Dylan Bundy will be on the mound for the O's against Jordan Montgomery. Our coverage on MASN begins at 12:30 with O's Extra presented by Southwest, and game coverage at 1 o'clock. We've got all the access you need right here on MASN.
Well, there are the Yankees. Great spring, 24-9. Last year won 84 games. You can go right down the list. A lot of runs first. And again, Team RA, they've surprised some people. Sabathia has turned it around, struck out, what, I think 9 yesterday. And again, good bullpen, even though, and you can see last 10 games, of course, it's been a little bit of a struggle. Chapman starting to throw again. He's been on the disabled list, their closer.
Marwin Gonzalez was trying to hit one to Dallas.
Yeah, good curveball, might have hurt his back. Big leg kick.
That ended up hitting his back. And the Orioles down by 4. And if Kim Rickard and Giannis do up, Mancini's available to pinch hit. Don't think we'll see Adam, although pinch hit possibly. 1-2. Now, if the Orioles don't come back in this and they have just 3 outs to go, Evaldo, without a doubt, Jim, help them for tomorrow. Quick turnaround with the day game, and no one in the bullpen has even had to get up and get loose.
Well, the way they do things, and you'll need a long man. Blyer can pitch long, but not 4 or 5 innings. A lot of times. I mean, Barrett's coming. Is Barrett on the roster today?
Yeah, he's here.
Yeah, so he's here. So he's the long guy. And And again, because Asher pitched such a short period, he probably would be ready for the bullpen on maybe Wednesday. That foul. It's kind of disappointing for him. Third start, give him an early lead. I mean, that really doesn't mean a whole lot, but it does give you somewhat of a cushion, and then they get the 6-run second inning.
Well, the key at bat was the Beltran at bat. After that leadoff single, he got ahead of Beltran 1 and 2, and then threw 3 out of the strike zone that weren't even close to being strikes. Another foul ball.
Well, what we've seen from Evaldo, again, he hasn't sounded like his velocity went up any today, but he's mixed his pitches up. The splitter, when he gave up the 2 runs in his first inning, which would have been what, the third, wasn't very good. That's what Beltran doubled on. But since then, it's been awfully good. So it gives him a second, third pitch. He can mix in his slider, curveball. Wellington Castillo right there. He went through what, a series of 3-4 signs saying, wait, let's make sure, because you're still in this game.
Right.
Leadoff hitter and a hot hitter.
Swept to second, tries to pull an outside pitch, and right to scope, 1 down. Julie Gurriel had a big day, 2 for 3, RBI double, RBI single. Each time he got on base, he scored. This one towards the gap in right center field. Smith on the run. He gets there for the out.
Yeah, good jump. Ball comes back to you. He runs it down. And again, a guy that's a free swinger. It's not like to take pitches. You know, that's kind of good news. If you're pitching well, you make your pitch, you take your chances. If you throw a ball, that's just kind of wasted pitches.
There's Nori Aoki, the number 9 batter. The only hitter that does not have a hit in this game for the Astros is Gaddis, but he scored a run when he reached on a fielder's choice.
Yeah, and then he's doing the catching. We all know how important that is.
Tony Sipp, the lone lefty. Kim is due to lead off for the O's. Sipp may need an inning of work. And Aoki badly fooled by that pitch in a weak string for the strikeout. So Evaldo, 3 consecutive 3-up, 3-down innings. He retires the final 11 batters he faces. by Southwest. Yes to low fares with nothing to hide. That's transparency. And by American Standard Heating and Air. Go to MidAtlanticComfort.com for special offers to find a dealer near you. How hard do you throw? Man has a pretty good arm. And here's Tony Sipp to work the ninth.
Yeah, the one batter last night, Chris Davis, gave up the hit, and again, this is the third best bullpen in the American League, and you know he's one of the reasons. Look at the numbers against righties: 1 for 18, and then lefties have hit him coming in 6 for 29. Veteran lefty, fastball, slider, change up. So he's trying to come in and not only get his work in, but get 3 outs and the Astros will win. And he matches up well against Kim, who doesn't see a lot of left-handed.
One at bat all year.
And he's got a base hit, doesn't he?
Yep, and an RBI. Kim thought he had a 2-0 count. Instead, it's called a strike.
Well, I think when you don't see a lot of lefties, you'd like to see a few pitches, and so he takes that one because it was somewhere around the outside corner. There's the slider. Not hard thrower, 90-91. But they judge you. Well, can you get lefties out? Can you get righties out? It certainly makes any manager, especially A.J. Hitch, better, and he's done that this year. And he drops down and gives him another look. Now he ought to be taken. Dickerson just standing over there. And he was, I think.
Thought he had ball 4. He was about to flip the bat away.
Might be more like he was hoping he had ball 4. Goodbye. Unfortunately, right on the knees. Perfect pitch. Again, veteran lefty, got to throw his strikes, pitch into the scoreboard. He hits a double, single, whatever, make him put the ball in play, or at least throw a strike. And you can see from there, it's just right around the knees.
That is the 13th strikeout recorded by Astros pitcher.
Yeah, I love that camera angle because that's kind of what you're looking at when you're in the dugout. So you could see that the pitch was high enough, but when you're in the dugout, a lot of times you can't see whether it was over the plate. That's where the center field camera or the high home comes into play. Especially when you have catchers that actually you hit the glove and they put the glove off the corner. You know, most of the years, my manager, of course, being Earl, he was driving crazy.
And the strikeout continues to plague this team. Orioles have struck out at least once in every inning of this game. And it was big in that second inning when they scored just the 1 run and left the bases loaded. There were 2 called strike 3s in that inning. Rickard has a base hit with 1 down.
And he finally gets a lefty and gets the ball in the middle of the plate. He doesn't waste any time. We'll now make it 2 for 19. Sipp against lefties, or against right-handed batters.
Mancini's going to come off the bench and pinch hit for Paul Janisch.
And a 273 hitter off of lefties. Actually make it 278 against right-handed pitching. 293 with 5 of those 7 home runs. So he's done a nice job against righties and lefties.
The Orioles have had some pretty good at-bats in this game. A lot of 3-2 counts. They're just having trouble stringing together base hits in the same inning. And Jim, a big part of that is the strikeouts. If you don't put the ball in play, nothing good can happen.
I mean, some credit has to be given to Houston because that's what they do. I mean, it's not like they're only striking Orioles out. But you're right about not advancing runners. That's a good changeup, and Trey Mancini able to stay alive. But don't think it doesn't drive the Oriole hitting instructor Scott Coolbaugh crazy. That they can't subjugate their ego and sometimes make it cut down on the swing a little bit. Because that just makes it harder to get them out. I mean, I know as a former pitcher, sometimes you make great pitches, they swing through them versus putting it in contact. A lot of good things happen when you. And I don't mean the, what is Chris Davis describes it, the choke and poke. But if you watch the Astros in this ballpark, and their bullpen is, they have somebody up in the bullpen, but one whole section is hitting it out towards their bullpen, which is where the Lexus sign is. I mean, that's just part of the deal. The Orioles do that, but in the game, it seems like they get away from that sometimes.
John Stewart short. Correa, second out there. Back to first is high, and it goes off the screen in front of the dugout. So the Orioles live for another out.
Yeah, too, if he gets very lucky because, again, it's pretty much just catch it, make sure you get the second out with a 4-run lead, and then the heat. Off balance throw, but it does hit the netting of the dugout. In the old days, there would be no netting, would have been an error. See him trying to get the game over with, and if it's an accurate throw, he might have been able to do it.
J.J. Hardy's going to come off the bench and pinch hit for Seth Smith. If somehow the Orioles got this game even, he would have to play shortstop. Giannis was pinch hit for, and then Mancini would just stay in the game in the outfield. But the Orioles down to their final out, and they trail by 4. JJ has a 3-game hitting streak going, and 7 for his last 16 in his last 5 games.
Yeah, 2 of the 3 home runs in the month of May. Average recently good, but 241 on the month. Ball. Yeah, great life. That was a Dallas Keuchel fastball right there. Ball right at the knees with great run.
Sip for some reason wants a new baseball.
Yeah, that one moved too much.
Yeah, I'd keep that one.
Well, the old days, you do your warm-ups. They used to have like cinder, and if the ball bounced, it would get scuffed a little bit. You hold it with the seams. Wherever the scuff was, it would go the other way. And if it was on the right side, it would veer left and opposite.
Hardy to right center field. On the run is Springer, and he runs it down and makes the catch, and the Orioles are swept by the Astros. Losing streak has reached 7 consecutive games. So the O's in the 9th. They get a base hit and scram one. Tough weekend in Houston. Our final score here at Minute Maid Park: Astros 8, Orioles 4.